Hey everyone, Joe here from the Minecraft Alliance and welcome back to the video. Before I get started guys, I just want to say that I do sound slightly poorly. I've got a slight bugged up nose, I'm only slightly ill, but I feel fine, it's just my voice sounds a bit weird, so please excuse me. I'm probably going to be wiping my nose a bit in this video, I do apologise, but I just wanted to record because I was bored. And I might do that a bit because I'm quite proud of that. Anyway, let's get on with the video guys, because today, I don't know, the disclaimers aside, today we are going to be discussing, if I can find the, where is it? Oh, it's got the game above it. We're going to be discussing this beauty, Harry Potter, even though it's inverted on your screen, Harry Potter and the Prince of Azkaban. This is the original UK cover, this is the new released UK cover. Personally, I prefer, I don't know, which one do sorry. Which one do I prefer? I can't pick a favourite because I think they're both really good. I love all the new covers and I also love all the old ones. This one, if you can't tell, it shows Harry and Hermione on Buckbeak, presumably going to rescue Sirius because there was a lack of Sirius, which would spoil it, obviously. And on this one, you can see that we've got Prongs, or Harry's Patronus, and Stag, and we've got Harry himself here, and I think this is when he cast the proper Patronus, the big one, to save Sirius himself and Hermione from the Dementors, which was obviously, yeah. Now this book was an interesting one because it got slightly longer. This book is, I'm going to compare the page numbers in this one. I haven't actually got the other two books on to hand, so I can't compare them exactly, but this one has 462 pages. Let me see, how many pages does this one have? I know this one doesn't. This one has 317 pages. You can see, if I show you the difference, if you've never read one of these books, that's one page in that book, and that's another page, that's another page, that's another page. So the last page, for example, in the big book, in this book here, begins with Trolley, bearing his trunk. The last page on this one begins with him. So there's only like a slight difference because the last page on this one starts about there. Where is it? It's about there. You see where my finger is? There. Yeah. But yeah. What do I think about the plot? Enough talking about the size of the books. Let's talk about the plot. Now the plot for me was a very good one. I really liked the whole theme, the continuous theme of people, the continuous theme of, like in Macbeth, the innocent theme of appearance versus reality. The whole thing about being a serpent, not only innocent flower, but being a serpent under it. Yeah, I'm doing GCSE English, and you get these quotes stuck in your head. But yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so. I love the continuous theme of appearance versus reality. Because in the first book you had Quirrell and Snape, the second book you had Lockhart, the third one now you've got, who else have you got? You've got, the third one you've got Lupin, and Sirius as well. Because the book tries to trick you to think that Lupin's bad, or good, then bad, but then it goes back to going the same with Sirius, it tries to trick you that he's bad, then it tells you that he's good. It tries to treat you that Wormtail was, well, Peter Pettigrew was bad, good, but then it turns out he was bad. And that's really one of the key themes that runs through these books. Sorry, I haven't recorded videos in over a month, guys. I'm a little bit rusty, but yeah. What was I going to say? In that theme of appearance versus reality really runs through us, particularly in this book, as you've got so many characters that are of that calibre who might not necessarily be all that they look to be. Also, they get a bit older in this book, and there's the first couple of fallouts, because if you remember, apart from the first book, when they weren't friends to begin with, after they made friends, as far as I can remember in the second book, they were friends for the whole thing, apart from, mainly probably because of the fact that Hermione was petrified for half of it. But in this book, it's when they have their first fallout, which also is important, because it's foreshadowing for the book 7, where Ron eventually leaves, but Ron falls out with Hermione, because of Crookshanks. Crookshanks, there's a whole mystery around Crookshanks. Who is he? A lot of people have said different things. I'm not going to talk about any theories, but I'm just going to talk about some fact. That was quite an interesting one. The firebolt, that was quite a tragic one. The whole mystery around who sent him the firebolt, that was quite interesting. to read about, and also the fact that Hermione actually technically got it right. But there's something I want to talk about now. There's a character in this book who you may or may not know who I'm talking about, who is regarded, again, appearance versus reality, as someone who isn't necessarily very good at what she does, and she's actually regarded as a bit of a fraud, and I think you might be able to work it out now. It's Professor Trelawney. Now, it's said quite clearly in the book by some characters, and one of my favourite, let's see if I can find it while I'm talking to you, but one of my favourite lines is what Professor McGonagall says about it. But, what was I saying? I completely forgot. Oh yeah. We're talking about Professor Trelawney here, and she is the divination teacher. Sorry, I'm a bit like I'm looking for. Sorry, this is like the weirdest video ever. But okay, let me read you this bit. Really, what's gotten you all into you all today? Said Professor McGonagall, turning back into her usual self, herself with a faint puff and staring around at them all. Not that it matters. Well, that's the first time my transformations got applause from a class. Everyone's head turned towards Harry again, but nobody spoke. Then Hermione raised her hand. Please, Professor, we've just had our first divination class, and we were reading the tea leaves, and of course, said Professor McGonagall. Yeah. There is no need to say any more, Miss Granger. Tell me, which of you will be dying this year? Everybody stared at her. Me, said Harry finally. I see, said Professor McGonagall, fixing Harry with her beady eyes. Then you should know, Potter, that Sybil Trelawney has predicted the death of one student a year since she arrived at this school. None of them has died yet. Seeing death omens is her favourite way of greeting a new class. If it were not for the fact that I never speak ill of my colleagues, Professor McGonagall broke off when they saw her nostrils and gone white. She went on more calmly. Divination is one of the most imprecise branches of magic. I shall not conceal from you that I have very little patience with it. True seers are very rare, and Professor Trelawney, she stopped again, and then she said, in a very matter-of-fact tone, you look in excellent health to me, Potter, so you would excuse me if I don't let you off homework today. I assure you that if you die, you need not hand it in. That is one of my favourite bits of the book, personally. I didn't mean to read as much, but I thought I might give you a bit of context. But yeah, the thing about Professor Trelawney being appearance versus reality, she actually does make some true predictions, which includes the prediction at the end where she says about Voldemort's servant going back to him, escaping before midnight, going back to him and reviving him. Obviously that all comes into book number 4, which we're talking about in the next couple of episodes. But it does. She is correct, and the thing about Lavender's money? I can't remember. And Neville breaking the teapot. There's a lot of just random stuff that happens to line up, and it's actually quite weird when you look at how many people call her a fraud. Even Ron and Harry and Hermione eventually end up calling her a fraud, and then you look at how much is actually said. That's actually correct. It actually is kind of not worrying, but it's actually quite intriguing whether she actually is a true seer or not. But like it's kind of said in book 5, and it kind of explains about divination in the sense that it's particularly for the stuff like Neville's Cup. It's more someone tells you it's going to happen, and you just kind of you think it's going to happen in the sense of it is going to happen. It is going to happen. So you end up doing it, even though you potentially could have not done it if you hadn't been told that so-and-so was going to happen. I know that stuff like when a rabbit dies is a bit different, but the same sort. There's theories either way. So if you guys all the stuff about all of this, let me know down in the comments. What do you think about Professor Trelawney? Do you think she's a fraud, or do you think she's real? I personally think she's real. I think divination isn't as woolly as people make it out to be. And also, something I discovered the other day, which I thought was quite interesting, is arithmancy literally means mathematical divination. And that's Hermione's favourite subject. So, don't tell her that. But yeah, I've actually looked into that, which is quite interesting. Anyway, back to the book. I thought the arc of this book was really good, the whole thing about Sirius Black, the way he keeps getting into the castle, the constant security measures that are raising the tension gets very big during all the books. This is one of my favourites. It was one of the most controversial in terms of the film, but we're not talking about the film, we're talking about the book. Personally, like I say, one of my favourite books. Don't know if it is my favourite, but it definitely is one of my favorites. I am going to do at some point, I will do, towards the end of this series, I will do like a ranking of all my favourite books. All the books, all the films. And potentially all the games that I've played. But yeah, this book overall for me is quite good. I think it's a very good continuation of the story. I'm trying to branch it out a bit, which I think is really good. It's slightly longer. I think it's longer than the first two. Not necessarily combined, but the fourth book is. But this one is longer than the first two because it has more detail. And personally, I just think this is a really good book. And I think the reviews on the back of this version really do sell it in the sense of what it is. It's a great book. It's a gripping and funny, quirky, imaginative, it's spellbinding, enchanting, bewitching, says the mirror. It really is a good book, and this one, in my opinion, really starts. It's where this one is where the story starts to get dark. It was a bit dark to begin with, because the whole Lord Voldemort thing. But this book, in my opinion, is where stuff really starts to go down. It starts to get dark, and obviously by book 7, it's really dark. But this is, to me, this is the Volta. Again, being an English literature student, I know these things, but it's the Volta, and I know that's a poetry term, but in my opinion, this book is the start of the Volta of the series, with this book being the completion of it. The start of this book, I'd say, is the start of the Volta. This one is the end of the Volta, but we're not talking about that at the moment. Because it's where the tone starts to change, things start to really change. There's a lot of foreshadowing in this book about Voldemort coming back, about Sirius dying, about Dumbledore dying, about Sirius dying. I think, was that about Sirius dying? Yeah, about Sirius dying. I think there was a bit of foreshadowing. I can't remember. Yeah, a lot of foreshadowing. If you don't know what I mean about the Dumbledore bit, they say that rumour has it that when 13 died together, the first to rise will be the first to die. But when what Professor Trelawney thinks is 12 people dying, it's actually 13. Because Ron has Scabbers, who is actually Peter Pettigrew, so the Dumbledore rises to greet Trelawney, and then it kind of, and he's the first one out of that group that dies. So it kind of brings you the question of how true is some divination. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I'm sorry if this one was a bit boring. I felt like it was a bit. But I'm going to try and improve on that for the next couple of videos, guys. I want to say thank you so much for watching, guys. This has been a slightly longer video than the other ones have, but I just really like talking about this one. I love this book, as I say. For me, it's the Volta of the series. It's one of the best books in the series. I am going to, at some point, like I say, do a ranking of them. I might try and get that out. I'm going to quickly check my schedule, actually. Back in a sec. So there we go, guys. That is that all scheduled in. I've got my laptop right next to me. I've just scheduled that in for the beginning of May. It is literally going to be the very beginning of May when the series ends. Because the last episode of this will be uploaded on the 29th of April. I am getting back on top of things, guys. But yeah, anyway, guys, this is going to be the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do hope you have enjoyed. If you have enjoyed, thank you so much for watching the entire video, guys. But yeah, thank you for watching. Remember, you are awesome. You really are for watching all the way to the end, because it's been about 14 minutes now. So thank you so much for watching the entire video, guys. Apologies again that I'm ill. Like I say, I sound slightly ill, but I'm fine. I'm feeling fine, so I wanted to get on to making some videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video, guys. Goodbye!